Hello there, and a very warm welcome to another edition of Channels Beam. I'm Victor Matthias. Now, during the president's election campaign in 2015, he vowed to fight against corruption and insecurity if elected. Since his election in April of 2015, the anti-graft war remains one of his topmost priority. However, this has drawn mixed reactions from Nigerians, and that will be our focus on the program today. But first, let's take a look at trending topics in the past week. Nigeria's former Minister of Agriculture and current President of the African Development Bank, Akinwumi Adesina, was recognized as the 2017 World Food Prize laureate for being at the forefront of galvanizing political will to transform African agriculture through initiatives to expand agricultural production, thwart corruption in the Nigerian fertilizer industry, and exponentially increase the availability of credit for smallholder farmers across the African continent. This hashtag was an online trend as well. It was a call by actor Alyssa Milano after the Harvey Weinstein revelations, which started with an expose detailing countless allegations against Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein, but later snowballed into personal stories from women in all industries across the world, rallying against sexual assault and harassment. Well, those were the trends in the past week, but joining us today to look at the topic of the day, the social commentator, Colada Kyrie, who joins us from Lagos, Nigeria, and a public affairs analyst, Godi Wogu, who joins us from Prague in the Czech Republic. Well, let's begin this conversation by defining what corruption is.
If this government will go about, or if those fighting corruption will go about defining the structure of what they are fighting, maybe we'll be able to have a clear idea what they have been able to achieve, because we mix up a lot of issues. I said that what this government is doing is not fighting corruption. What the government is doing is recovering loots. Corruption is a very dynamic thing. We cannot just look at it in the aspect of actually taking money from governments. Corruption also means you giving bribe to go get a license, you giving bribe for somebody to write the exam for you, involving in something, finding shortcuts, looking at the police officer and giving him bribe so that you can go on a wrong way. These are corruption. We have not seen people who are actually being prosecuted for actually attempting to give a bribe to a policeman. It has never happened in Nigeria. So if you're talking about defining corruption, we have to really look at the context of what is really corruption. What is it that actually goes to our consciousness and conscience and say that this is really morally wrong for us to do?
So going by that definition, Colada, how will you rate the ongoing fight against corruption in Nigeria?
Well, what I would say about the anti-corruption fight is it is a fight that has started, and it's a fight that they are really fighting. That's the truth about it. But whether it is one-sided or not, the fight must start anyway, whichever way.
So you mean for you it is gratifying enough that the fight has started, not minding whether it is one-sided or not, right?
Yes, starting is something for me, a big one for me. At least let it start and let keep up the momentum. If another administration come up 2019, let them keep the fight going and let the fight just continue. That's my own stand.
The fight against corruption in this administration is one of the things that we know that this government is effectively doing, if I use the word effectively, because there are other areas of administration where a lot of the people don't know what is happening. But in the terms of fighting corruption, this is one of the key things that this government has actually been effectively doing. Now, in different ways to really know if it's yielded the result or if it has been fought, how the people would have actually seen the results if really it's been measured as against the previous administration. Because every administration said they fight corruption. But compared to the other administrations, this one we're really hearing a lot in the media, or from the EFCC by themselves, that what they have done, what they have not done. So yes, the fight against corruption has been on from the very beginning of this administration. And as I think that as we go further, we'll be able to analyze how effective or non-effective it has been so far, and if the results are something to be really, happy about or not. So, in my opinion, there is a kind of fight against corruption going on. It's time we begin to really identify corruption and what is really stealing. The former president said stealing is not corruption. And when we really think about it so much, it seems that in Nigeria, we seem to really identify corruption as taking what belongs to the government. I think for me, in my opinion, when I think about it deeply, this is actually stealing. So what this government has been doing so far is actually recovering of stolen properties or stolen wealth from the people. So if EFCC or if the government could go about this in a different way, say they are trying to recover what was stolen from the government, well, yeah, Nigerians will now be thinking it's not fight against corruption, but recovering of stolen assets, money, and the things that belongs to Nigeria. So as regards to this, yes, the government has been telling us how much they have recovered. Probably they don't want to pursue they don't want to pursue prosecution. They don't want to send people to jail. Well, if they are okay that the people who stole the things from the government are giving it back and they are having some kind of clear bargain, they're having a possibility not to go to jail, we are fine. But we want to really know in total at the end of the day how much has been recovered from the government. Because for me, this is mostly what is happening because they are recovering. They are not really fighting corruption.